All right, so you guys yourself a little Redragon keyboard. Now this is it's a beautiful little keyboard, but there's a couple issues and a couple things that you should be aware. So let's take a look at it. First of all, I like the actual keyboard. It's mechanical. They give you extra keys here. You could the actual piece to take them off, and you could add your own. If you want softer ones, they give you four of them. Of course, this soft as it is. They give you a wire. The wire has a two extra connection. It expands to a Type C in case you want Type C to Type C or Type A to Type A as C. All right. So you got this mechanical keyboard and you're trying to figure out how to actually change the time in here and do other functions. So I'm going to show you a couple things I was able to do. Unfortunately, I was able to change the time and it's giving me a timer pretty much. I tried connecting it different ways. I'm going to show you exactly what I did right now. So first of all, let me talk a little bit more in depth on the actual keyboard. Right now, it has a USB that you could connect to it, 2.4 hertz. It resides on the side of it. On the other side, it's going to give you the actual key commands control, right? 2.4, that's what we currently have. We have off. If you want to connect your keyboard to a wire and get the fastest connection, that would be it. Now, you do have Bluetooth, which is built into the system. Very simple to install. It starts blinking. You'll find it automatically when it says Redragon, and you connect to it. Now, one of the best things I like it's really light. It does have the kickstands in the back, if you guys see it. It has two options. It has the smaller version, if you guys can see that. And then, of course, it has the larger version, right? So I like both of them in case you're going to take it out for traveling. This fits perfect on anybody's backpack. It's very small, very petite. If you guys can see, if it's almost not entire my hand, it's halfway through my hand. So, but I like the actual monitor itself. Out of the box, you're going to have a lot of complications trying to figure out the language, right? To change the language, you're going to have to actually scroll all the way to where it says languages. It's not going to say languages. It's going to be a little icon, and that's where you only see two options, EN and in Chinese. All right, so we're going to go EN. We're not going to go Mandarin. And then from here, you have other options. You could click on effects. And in effects, you could change a couple things. There's an option. You go to colors. You can change the colors right off the bat. Green, purple, yellow, and so forth. But it changes. They give you more options. Oh, they have all these little buttons at the bottom that actually give you more options. All right, this keyboard has a lot of hidden talents, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. First of all, you do need to download the application, and I'm going to show you exactly where to download it so you guys could get it. Now, do it at your own risk because it's not certified, the actual application. It's a Chinese made, and it still has glitches. You're able to do updates on it and changes, but I'm going to show you a little bit more on the actual software. Unfortunately, the only thing I can't change, and you're probably looking for the same thing I was, is changing the time. All right, so if you want the software, you go to reddragonzone.com, and here you're going to have to go into actually get setups where it says support and downloads. Under downloads, it's going to take you to this screen actually where I am, if you guys can see it. You're going to have to scroll all the way down, and under this app, it's the last one pretty much. It's the one that says Redragon K708RGB Pro. That's the one we have, which is FLEKACT. 3 modes. So this is the one that we actually changed. And here it's going to give you an option to download, and it takes you to go Google Drive, and you're able to download the application from here. All right. In order to use the application, one critical thing, you do have to connect the actual wire to the actual keyboard in order to make any kind of changes. So from here, you're able to change the color effects on here. You can test them out in here, how they will look when you actually click on things. If you want to change commands on macros, you can do that. You can actually record a keyboard command and you could push one button and it will do the actual command. Other settings, this is where you actually make additional changes. All right, now if you guys can see WASD, these are pretty much the command keys that a lot of people use for gaming. Now personally, I like to use them on the left hand side, but there's those people that like to use it on the right hand side. So that means that you could change this by clicking on this. You could change the 4 arrows that you have on the right hand side to be these command keys lines, right? End key, and then you could keep your cap locks on. Set the Windows keyboard properties. You can do that by clicking on it, and you could change it. This is only Windows application that it's basically it's a Windows 11, 10 that you have that you can make changes to the actual keyboard. Once you go to view screen, this is what is very important because right here you could write a little animation effect. You could create your own effect, or if you want, you could download. Let's go ahead and download an effect, right? So we're going to go into Google. Now we're going to try to get something cute. So we're going to say cute GIF. And that's pretty much we're going to find something. If you guys can see something cute, I like this one, Garfield. We're going to add this character in here. Once you grab it in here, you can just drop it anywhere into your system. And it's called 200W. So now you go back to the application in here and we just say animation. You can even add pictures, and right here we just choose the 200W, which we just have it. This is the actual animation that we're going to upload to the actual system. All right, so here we are with the actual application. So one thing I did run into the actual keyboard is that when I try to do the actual type C to type C, it didn't want to work. It had to be type C to type A. For some reason, my keyboard wasn't being recognized or charging. So I was able to change that on that system itself. And I just opened up the actual extension and added the type A. And here I am. Now we're going to upload the actual picture. Once you have what your animation is, you took a look at it, you say upload, and you say upload all frames. And that's it. It takes about maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and the system actually will tell you when it's done. And we're going to go ahead and test it out so you guys can see the actual animation. We just downloaded. All right, here we got the keyboard. One of the main reasons I got it is because it has a volume control, and I like to listen to music and listen to myself. Actually, when I'm editing videos, I want to hear it and actually make sure that people are able to listen to me. I want to be controlling the actual device. Right now, we do have a wire, and like I said, I have it connected from type A to type C on the system. Now, to view the actual GIF that we just uploaded, you just click the center. We're going to go to Effects, and then instead of timer, we just hit GIF. On the GIF, you're going to see the little animation we just downloaded and installed. And you could do much more than just animation. You could put pictures and so forth. If you want to see something other than the time, you could set that up. Now, another great thing I like about this keyboard is that you could change the effects. Let me show you the other effects. All right, let's take a look at some of the effects that we can create here. When you go to the actual keyboard itself, right now we choose actual red. If you guys can see, you can change it to yellow, orange or yellow, green, blue, and so forth. And then you could go back to your rainbow colors, right? Now, you have much more options in here. You could change the brightness of it, if you guys can see that. So we could change the brightness to lower, let it go. And of course, you could change the RGB light by number too, if you recognize, if you remember some of this stuff. And this is pretty much for those that like Adobe. Now, we're going to go into other ones. We're going to go into breathe. This is pretty much like a breathing condition. It does. It turns off and on. And let's go to another one. Spectrum. We're gonna go a couple of keyboards so you guys can see. I did turn off the lights in here so you guys can see it better. Rain. Look at the rain one. You guys can see it from the actual. This is a pretty good one. I actually like this. My favorite one is the one that we type away. And the ripples come in here. The ripples when you actually type. This is the one I was talking about. You key a command and it just opens up. I like this one. Let's go to stars. This is pretty much just opening different keys. And then of course reaction is like, that's another one that you click on it and it stays there functioning for a bit. You guys can see that space and it does all that. So you could change it to whatever you want and put normal, if you guys can see that, because it's pretty much just make sure that you're lighting up all the effects and all the things. But you're able to change this and even create your own actual lighting effects in here, which I like about the actual software. But other than the software, let's test out the audio on it and talk a little bit more about the pros and cons about this. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's test out the actual keyboard, all right, the audio. Look how soft it is. Very soft. All right. The only reason I bought this one is because I like to have the controls in front for audio, and it had a screen. It was like a plus for me. You know, I was able to actually monitor certain things, but unfortunately, it didn't quite hit the right spot for me on this one. It's one of those things that I do like the keyboard, the functions and everything, but unfortunately, the thing that got me is that the timer. I couldn't change the time. And if I can't manipulate or change anything, I don't really, it's not really useful for me to have that little screen in there. If it was a timer in there, it would have been perfect. I would have watched the time, change the clock and so forth, because sometimes we're all in a rush. best thing we always look down is always a keyboard. So that's for me was a little downer on that. The application itself was very little bit complicated because a lot of things that are in there are not functioning correctly. I had to turn it off and on. It was able to actually pick up. The keyboard is great with to travel with. I like the three options. You got Bluetooth, you got the 2.4 hertz USB on the side that you have it saved, and then you can actually use a wire too. On the video picture that I saw, and when I purchased it, it was a different type of wire. It had a curve. It was more like elastic. This is a different cable that they gave you, but it was an upgrade because they actually have a Type A to Type C. The function of Type C to C didn't want to work when I was making changes to the actual keyboard. And I have a system that's capable of handling pretty much anything I throw on it. And it has a 3.2 on the USB, so there was no issue on my system. It had to come from the wire or the software and firmware are not ready. And it did give me an option for updating the firmware, but I wasn't able to do it. I tried everything on the application. When I read it, there's not that much information because it's still new, the keyboard. But overall, it's very slim, small, petite, and it might be useful for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. 99.6 of you are not subscribers in my channel. I hope that the content helps you out and that you find it very useful. And I hope you hit the like and subscribe